All right, hello everybody, and welcome to a very special Scouching report, as today we are going to take a look at one of my favorite sleepers for this year's NHL draft in Brynäs forward Michal Svrcek. Now, Svrcek has been a Slovakian player playing in Sweden for a few seasons now, but really has been a player who, over the course of this season, very quickly became a very impressive player to me, and really just raced up my board over the course of the entire season, especially once he earned his promotion to the Swedish Hockey League. He spent a long stretch there and ended the season, albeit in very low samples, the highest producing first-time draft-eligible forward in the SHL this season. He played for quite a long stretch in the playoffs this year as well, and I think Svrcek, more than anything, is a player who at least shows that he deserves to be in one of the higher groups of tiers of players in this year's NHL draft class. So before we get into the specific reasons why, if you like what we do, definitely like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely consider a subscription over at Scouching.ca. That helps us out a lot. You can get access to our data tracking abilities, our data visualization tools, and plenty of cool stuff like our Discord server and early access to these videos and plenty of other stuff you can check out there. So with that in a nutshell, Michal Svrcek is, I think, one of the most energetic, aggressive, high-paced players available in this year's draft. He's a player who, at this level, at the SHL level especially, showcased a level of energy, involvement, and intensity that shows a lot of potential for, I think, future development with him. He's a player who, I think, at the junior level showcased a lot more dynamic ability, a lot more creativity, and a lot more finishing ability, but there are some areas that I think will need to be improved in order to hit the ceiling that he has. At the very least, to me, Svrcek is a player who played at a men's level, arguably the best men's level in Europe this year, for quite a long stretch of time, did not go out and play 2 minutes at a time, 3 minutes at a time. He was playing solid minutes for this team for long stretches of the season, and in my experience, European teams find a lot of excuses not to play young players if they want. So for me, the energy and the intensity and the involvement and the flashes of really good offense that is put together at a really high pace of play are things that combine to me to make Svrcek a player that at the very least should be in the conversation to be a first round pick in this year's NHL draft. I have him really high, probably higher than he should be, but that's more so because I think he projects really well to the highest levels of hockey, and I think that with some time, patience, and development, he certainly deserves to be in a pretty solid group of players at the high end of this NHL draft. So let's get into the video, explore why that is and why I think that, and see where we can go with Michal Svrcek in this video. So the main thing I'm going to want to stress in this video is that the SHL is really hard, and everything happens really fast. And I think that that is why I like a guy like Svrcek so much, because you see things happening on the ice with him that in the NHL you're gonna need young players to be able to do in order to keep up and stay ahead of play. It's just as important as being able to resist pressure or create offense. Like, being able to stay ahead of what your opponents are coming at you with is very important. And on this play, Svrcek is this guy right here, and there's a couple of little things on this play that I noted that is good to carry forward, right? So Svrcek takes a couple of steps and finds himself in open space as a breakout option here, which is great. He's also on his strong side, so he's able to send a pass here or out here or whatever in a quick one-touch scenario. He just shoulder checks to see what's going on here. He goes, oh, there's a guy on me right here, and then spins off the pressure. So now he's got good body positioning on this guy to create a bit of a gap and give himself a bit more of a lane to get out here or dish the puck to this guy, and he's basically negated that forechecker. He grinds the puck out from the boards, and now he's got sort of a bit of a lane here, and he's got a bit of a lane to go to this guy. It gets closed pretty quick, but still manages to get the pass through, and the play gets stopped, I think, for a penalty. But at the end of the day, this is just a showcase of a quick sequence of things that are very small and very, I guess, minor, but in aggregate and when combined together, I think showcases some good high-level thinking and work rate and just raw ability at a high pace of play. This obviously is not something that I want to showcase to be like, oh my god, see how sick this guy is, but I just want to showcase that, again, this is the kind of thing you need to see out of young players. The play goes offside, Svrcek gets the puck knocked off of him, and they go offside on this play, but for me, it's the work rate and the ability to sort of drive into pressure, try to drive through it. You know, yeah, probably you want to see a chip and chase on this play, but this is mostly just to highlight that this is a kid kid with a lot of energy. He's willing to plow through pressure. He doesn't shy away from contact. And in this situation, there, a bounce here or there, he could have a bit of a gap there to get to the net. This is just a really, really nice sequence from Svrcek here, right? It's, again, nothing incredible, but Svrcek gets the puck down here, down low, and crosses a guy up, gets around wide, protects the puck really well, opens a lane, makes no mistake, but then he's now in a good scoring position. If he gets this puck back, he could be a good shot on net threat. You've got some traffic in front. Good stuff is happening for him here. Pass gets whiffed on, but then what happens? Svrcek is right there already. Quick little stick check, gets it to a teammate, and now he's again wide open in space. This is the kind of thing that I think guys who can skate really well and play really good hockey are really capable of, using their feet and their pace of play to make themselves targets. Keep factoring into play somehow. And so for me on this play, it's a showcase of, you want Svrcek inside driven, but he is driven to the inside here, right? Like, this is a decent scoring chance here, and you've got maybe a rebound threat from in here, and if that pass isn't flubbed, that might be a scoring chance, and then he just follows right up and gets involved again and then makes himself a target. So for me, again, it's an aggregate of these little things that I think showcase potential real talent here with Svrcek. So this is the other thing about Svrcek, is I think that just being able to keep up with the pace of play right up at the top end of the hockey world is such a huge benefit. And here's Svrcek on the right wing right now, and just watch how he skates up the ice here. Just insane speed to split through there, get to the net, and this is good defensive coverage. Like, I don't know what Svrcek is supposed to do here, so this gets knocked off his stick, and then Svrcek again switches to his back feet, gets out to the blue line here. Again, he's a threat that could be receiving a pass. He's going for a change, but then quick cut, gets that pass anyway. And this is number one, I think, that last little shot at the end there. I mean, the trend with him is he's a guy who historically has scored a lot of goals, but by doing stuff like that. But the quality of his wrist shot is extremely high, in my opinion, but he just uses it from areas you're not going to score from. And in junior hockey, that's a little problematic for me. But at the men's level, for young players, that's not uncommon for me. He's a guy who I think, though, if you can sort of motivate him to drive into the middle again, like a little bit more, he's capable, he's got the speed. And I think that, again, like, I'm thinking future development with him. Skill training, keep him playing at a really high pace of play, and allow him to sort of try to, in this type of a situation, receiving this pass, again, the skating is really great, but like, you have some room to make a play here, right? Like, you could maybe cut in and then cut back, and maybe you've got a couple of options here, but he just kind of throws it on net. And again, really good shooter, and they get another scoring chance from in front, so that could have been an assist for him. But at the end of the day, this play, I think, showcases the speed at which he can play, getting up the ice really quickly, and again, the skating ability, these quick cuts to change directions and capitalize on these errant passes and such. Really good stuff. This is back in junior. This is really early in the year, but again, it's these quick cuts along the boards, and if he can get a little more explosive with his first couple of steps, I mean, I think this kid could be absolutely lights out in a cycle offense situation. Not the best idea in terms of passing here. I mean, I don't know who he's supposed to pass it to in this situation. There's only 3 guys in his offensive zone here, and like, he's not going to backhand this to this guy. I mean, I guess he could try, but he, whatever. So he just reverses it down below the blue line or down the goal line, but nobody is there and it's turned over. So, mixed bag, but again, it's this sort of, these were the moments early in the year where I kind of went, oh, okay, like, this guy might be better than I think he is. And again, the speed of his game is what really draws me to him, right? So here's Svrcek on the dump in, and just watch the energy. He comes across the entire ice surface, tracking that puck really, really well, picks the right guy to go after, and just stick check, keeps it hemmed in along the boards, and now they've got possession in the offensive zone. These are the kinds of things that I'm looking for a lot, especially at the men's level, right? It's why I like guys like Victor Eklund so much, even in Anton Frundell. You play off the puck so much more than with the puck at the NHL level a lot of the time. Your puck touches are quick, you got to think quickly, and for me, a guy like Svrcek, on the forecheck and everything like that, yeah, I've seen a lot out of him where I'm going, yep, this guy can play. This is back in junior, again, early in the year, but again, the quick hands to get through traffic here. Nice evasion of a stick check, protects the puck and dishes it to a line mate here. Nothing crazy, but another sort of, he's got a bit of skill to him as well. And again, the men's league stuff is what I'm really, really interested in with him. This play, I mean, for me, it's like you're playing a bit of a risky game by doing this, but this is how you create space in the NHL. Quick cutbacks, creativity and deceiving on the fly. And if, again, the explosiveness is kind of what I would want to see a little bit more out of him, get out of those turns and crossovers with a little bit more energy and a little more speed. But once this kind of thing happens a little more, I think there's a ton of potential for Svrcek Svrcek. Here are those quick hands on display again. Just Svrcek again. Just a quick cross up on this guy. Awesome, awesome play. Just keeps the puck along the boards and then gets it out to the blue line. You know, this was one of the games I think I saw where I went, oh, okay, like this guy's starting to put things together at the junior level that really allow him to drive a lot of really good play. And if you can build on this skill level and refine just that explosiveness, I mean, yeah, there's a ton of potential here. And in this year's draft class, like it's pretty quick for me where it becomes I want to bet on the upside on this energetic of a player, this skilled of a player who has these sort of flaws that you should be able to rectify at least decently well in the next few years. He does do some of this inside playmaking stuff. I mean, in this game, he was absolutely uncorked. I remember watching this one and he just was a machine for this game. Really nice slot pass there. It doesn't get handled perfectly well and it is through a little bit of traffic, but this is the kind of thing that I want to see more at the higher levels, that inside drive on the puck, put pucks into scoring areas a little bit. He was a little bit too perimeter driven in the SHL, but again, not uncommon at that level, and you see potential and you see flashes. And compared to a lot of other guys that I saw playing in the junior league in Sweden this year that might go second round, maybe first round, I saw a lot in Svrcek that I think is worth really, really betting on. And this is the kind of thing that I think projects so well to the modern NHL, right? Like Svrcek on the forecheck here gets a really nice pass or deflection off of the entry here, but then drives down low, protects the puck so well, and then spots a guy on the far side and a simple pass out in front, but does it at a high pace of play, high energy, high speed, and you know, again, he's just moving his feet, and this is the NHL kind of thing, right? Like energy. It doesn't have to always be just raw skill and fancy stuff. If you can sort of get through an opponent's defense and do it with speed and good puck protection ability, stuff like this can lead to a goal. I see this happen in the playoffs literally all the time. It's not endless cycles or anything. It's just you get an opportunity with a lane, get down low, skate your wheels off, and find an open pass, and boom, you've got yourself a goal. This kind of thing happened more often in the SHL than I thought when I looked back at the data, and so yeah, good stuff. This is also another thing that it's so minor on the ice, but it matters to me, right? So Svrcek, again, people will criticize him. He's 5'10", maybe not the fastest, most explosive guy in the world, really, but under pressure here on the exit, he gets this, I mean, kind of sketchy pass, but he's wrestling a guy off of him. He's got another guy coming in here, and what does he do? Just a tap. And they've got the puck moving up the ice again. Like, these are the little plays that in aggregate, like, I mean, this is why I kind of look at points and go, it's not the whole story, really. Like, I think you need guys like Svrcek who can chip in literally everywhere in a good way and also drive deep and find you an open ice in the offensive zone, but also do things like this, like wrestle. These are adults, and wrestling off guys like that just to get a stick on the puck and give it a little tap to a line mate, it makes all the difference in the world, right? Like, that could have meant the difference between them getting in the offensive zone with control here, or pretty much control, or going back into their own end if he kind of got pushed out of the way or floated off of that contact or just let the other guy come in and take the puck, right? Like, it's these little things, and with Svrcek, that's not uncommon. It's I think why they were playing him in the SHL so much this year. Again, more of this wonderful stuff that I love to see. It's not the most high-end thing, but again, getting that really nice pass in the offensive zone, driving down low, getting it out in front. This, I believe, was the only shot attempt while he was on the ice in this game that was not from the perimeter, and he was the assist on it, and it was a goal. So there is a bit of this sort of inside playmaking with him that I would love to see more of, and see every stride cover a little bit more ice there, because stuff like this is projectable, right? You just get down low, get below the goal line, throw it out in front, trust that your line mates are going to go there. And who knows, if you have a defenseman trailing and the puck sails right through the crease, what happens? You can capitalize on that chaos. This is the kind of thing I love to see. And I guess, I mean, at this level, that's why I'm kind of really drawn to this guy and what he could be down the road. I remember this one too. Again, this is from that game where he was just an absolute machine, but that pass on the backhand is really nice, tape to tape, and gets to the net, takes advantage of some pretty sloppy defending there, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, like, this is a guy who showcases things at the lower levels that I would love to see at the higher levels a little bit more often than he showed. But I mean, again, really nice backhand pass there, goes to the net, and a tap in. Good stuff, simple execution, and done on the rush, you know, high energy. That's what I personally am looking for. And once again, I do this sometimes in these videos, right? Keep your eye on where the player starts on this play. So Svrcek is in the middle of the ice in the defensive zone, and keep your eye on where he is and where he goes on this play and how much ice he covers and how well he does it, right? So he's deep in his own end here, in front of his own net now, right? Like, he's deep in his end. And now the puck is starting a rush here. If I told you that this led to Svrcek in alone, would you believe me? Because Svrcek escapes that guy and just leaves him in the dust, gets to the net, and gets a shot on net. I mean, obviously there's more to hockey than just speed and rush offense and everything, but I'm watching a kid do this in the SHL, and people are ranking this guy as like a 4th or 5th round pick. To me, that just makes no sense at all. And if he were, I like to do things in hockey pucks since they're an inch in height. If he was a hockey puck or two taller, would we be talking about this guy a little bit more because of what he's doing in the SHL? I mean, I don't know. I just see this guy playing against men that are making hundreds of thousands of euros or krona, whatever you want to call it, and he's getting up the ice, escaping their pressure, escaping them with speed, fighting them off. I mean, I just watch this guy and I'm going, yeah, like, if it's later on in the first round, like, compared to who else is going to be there. I mean, if you take name your pick, a Justin Carbonneau, a Will Horkoff, a Simon Wang, like, if you put these guys in the SHL, are they doing stuff like this? I don't think so. Again, something I would love to see more of in the SHL moving forward, assuming he stays there, right? Svrcek doesn't come into the frame until really late in this clip. Here he is entering in the offensive zone here. But again, catches this puck and just in stride handles it, gets around and goes to the net. I would love to see this more often at the higher levels of hockey that he plays at, because in the past, because in the SHL right now, you see him taking the puck here and putting it on net from somewhere in this range. And to me, it's like, you've got the skating ability to swing wide and attack the net here. And so for me, that's what I would really want to see more of. And you see the capability at the junior level, but it doesn't quite come out at the men's level. I think that's something that I would consciously be working on from here. We just came from that clip. Here's another one, but this is where I think Svrcek should be, reinforced positively. And yeah, I don't even need to pause it, right? Go to the net, just play with speed, protect the puck really well, go to the net and score. That's what he does on this play. I don't know what else you could really ask for. And again, think of where he goes in this play. Just track him this whole play, gets around 33 there, attacks the net, goes 5-hole, you got yourself a goal. Like, Svrcek is here at this play, right? In his own end. So, I mean, the NHL is faster than it's ever been, so you kind of do need to have some level of speed in your game. But also, this whole way, he manages to keep himself in open ice, make himself a target, and just blows right through 33. At the men's level in the SHL, to me, by default, that makes you pretty valuable. And at 17 years old, really impressive. So Svrcek on this play, just off the faceoff, again, resisting pressure from a grown man, again, number 26, and gets the pass back. Simple execution and stuff, but again, the determination is the fact here. And then good forechecking energy here. He uses his skating really well to close gaps and annoy guys quickly. If he's a step quicker, then I think he could be a much bigger threat here, but that's something that could happen, right? I don't think there's a reason to believe that it won't. But for me, Svrcek here just showcases some good habits, resilience off the faceoff, gets in the offensive zone, chases guys down on the forecheck. Again, grown men trying to get a breakout going, and he, is a bit of a thorn in their side the whole way. I don't know what else you want out of a forward here on this play. Like, Svrcek here is going to enter the zone this way. And again, just the battle here, right? He gets into the offensive zone, tries to go through the defenseman, almost gets it done, but now he's in a bit of a pickle here, but he's facing pressure from this guy. But what does he do? He goes right into the boards himself and a little chip to a line mate below the goal line. I look at this play and I just go, yeah, like, this is what you need out of the NHL. You don't need the size if you can wrestle through pressure, chip the puck around, play selflessly, and trust that your line mates can also help you out, right? Like, it's not always necessarily about exactly what the player themselves can do, but it's a matter of how they interact with their line mates, how they play, and the type of physical play you're getting out of them. And again, playing against men, he's wrestling, he's going into the boards and making little plays all around the ice that benefit everyone else he's playing. Really good playmaking on this play too. So Svrcek is this guy cutting out from in front of the net here, and just watch how he tracks this, right? He gives good support in open ice here. A little tap, gets through the guy, and then beautiful awareness here to backhand pass it right back to this guy and generate a scoring chance. Or at least, well, it does generate a scoring chance. But the point here is, for me, like, Svrcek monitors this play really well. A little chip there, again, to make life easier for himself, and then a quick backhand pass. One touch stuff. It's all quick and simple and well executed. I mean, this guy just goes, right? Like, he's working off the boards here, and again, head is up, coming off the boards, and he makes no mistake. Slot pass pass right to a guy up high, take the shot, that's a shot assist, and then he's right back in it below the goal line there. Bam, they keep it in the offensive zone. Again, it's hard for me to watch this and go, yeah, I mean, maybe I take this guy like as my third, fourth, fifth, round pick and just see what happens with him. Like, I mean, he's playing in the SHL, he's not looking too bad, and again, that puck protection, that edge work to keep the possession of the puck really well, put it out in front, like, I don't know, I like this kid. This is a play that where I think a lot of things don't necessarily go Svrcek's way, but boy, if they did, it would be quite the sequence, right? That cut through traffic there, get it out to the blue line, whiffs on the pass, but hopefully that doesn't happen, and then cut to the net, blocked shot, gets along the boards, and then a slot pass, right? There's not a ton going on here where I'm like, oh my God, the awareness here is elite, but you're seeing a lot of ability to sort of make quick decisions, make quick cuts, execute passing decisions quickly, go to the net, really simple instinct stuff that you definitely need to see in quick succession. And this is how he kind of generates really good offensive numbers at the junior level. That being said, this is where I think he's going to make his money. I mean, this energy off the puck, just cutting down gaps and cutting down players, it's really good. I mean, again, he just is relentless. Here's Svrcek on the far side, just relentless pressure. Comes all the way across the ice, pressures him, gets the puck off of his stick on the defensive entry there, makes him go offside. Just the defensive game from Svrcek on its own is so good, and I don't think it's that far behind a lot of the guys portrayed as really good defensive players in this draft. A nice little off-puck stick lift, again, selfless play. In my books, is this the same thing as hitting a guy and pinning the puck against the boards? I'd argue it's better. Having good support there, a defenseman there to pick up that puck, and you just prevent that other player from even touching it in the first place, you've done a good job. And so to lift that stick off the puck and make sure that this thing keeps going in the offensive zone, good smart play. Here's even more of that energy, again, just working through that pressure through the slot and good puck support there. Then, again, gets his stick on the puck and chips it past the guy before he can touch it in the corner. The other thing I want to note, too, is Svrcek sees his defenseman here stepping up into this area, and he does what he should do, really, is step up and cover that space, but also do so in an aggressive way so that if that puck squirts out, he's able to get the puck in front here, or maybe put it on net here, something like that. It gets eaten along the boards, he then goes in for support, and just keeps playing the right way. Just doing a lot of things well, right? I mean, here's Svrcek again, off the face-off, just fearless, right? Guy all over him, he fights him off, creates a bit of havoc, and forces 53 to dump it out to his own teammate, right? Like, I think Svrcek on this play just showcases again that this is a player who earns what he gets on the ice, and the off-puck stuff, which I hear a lot, is very, very important. It's all there in spades. So again, he's not the strongest guy in the world, but I think you can work on that, right? I think that's going to be the key thing, right? But again, that's him challenging a player that looks quite a lot bigger than him, causing a bit of havoc on that defensive zone exit, and very nearly creating some good possession in the neutral zone here. So for me, again, it's that ability to recognize where the puck is going, attack whoever is in the vicinity of where it's going, and try to generate something good out of it. I mean, if I'm throwing this guy over the boards, I know what I'm getting every shift, and I like it. And yes, he's 5'10", but throws hits. Bang in the corner. He even hits the guy into the referee there. So depending on who you ask, that might be a bonus if you like referees or not. Just a really, really good pursuit there, and it causes an offensive zone turnover, and then he goes right to the net. Like, if he's a bit quicker and can get off the boards a bit quicker than that and get into that slot area a bit quicker, the offensive potential, he could have been a tipping threat there or something. Like, that's where I would want to go with his game for sure, to benefit his offensive output a little more. Again, the energy he plays with on this play here, right? Svrcek comes in here and look at him. Whoop. And then flips onto his backside here, skating backwards. Now he's a shooting threat. If this puck somehow comes to him here, one-timer threat, bang, and then cuts to the net. This is like structured hockey 101, right? Especially if you play with a lot of energy, flies into the offensive zone, makes himself a shooting threat, cuts onto his forward skating, and goes to the net. Tries to cause a little bit of havoc in front. That's how you generate offense at higher levels. And so yeah, again, we're not seeing like a tremendous amount of incredible skill and puck possession and all that stuff at this level, but it's little plays. It's little tiny little ways to chip in and move the play up the ice that add up to be arguably, in my opinion, just as effective as some of these guys who have the puck a lot and love to try stuff with the puck and, all that fun stuff that you look for. But this is also a really good way of always being able to get something in the offensive zone. Really good support here on the forecheck. Again, he's got good body positioning here. He's going to be first to the puck if that puck gets reversed down the corner and he can make something happen. He takes a hit and he's under pressure from two dudes here. And somehow Brunus comes out with possession of the puck here. All of this is done through the energy of the entire line, but Svrcek is a big part of it, right? Like playing at this high energy, taking those licks, and then again, off the puck, going to the net. Again, these little sequences, they happen quickly, but they can lead to goals, right? It's like you get the puck off the boards, go to the net, attack the net, maybe something happens. And again, so here as well, think about how quickly he's making these plays, right? So Svrcek gets the puck on the offensive entry, pass, gets the puck back, and then looks, and another option presents itself, right? He might have been able to reverse it back to this guy, and this guy could have taken it down low here or something, but being able to sort of have your head up and be aware of who else is trailing into the offensive zone and getting a shot on net like that, it's good offensive play as well, and he makes these passes quickly, and he makes these decisions quickly, which I think for a player like him, especially if that explosiveness doesn't really improve from here, is what he's going to absolutely need to be at higher levels in order to find some level of success somewhere in the lineup. Here's that energy again on display, right? Svrcek is here going in towards the net area and just slices through their defensive structure, and now look at him. Wide open man in front, and what does he do? Tips the puck. It's a great tip. It wasn't perfect, and it didn't sort of carry a lot of momentum going to the net. But here, I just wanted to highlight that Svrcek goes to the net, which is what you want. He gets his stick on the puck, and then again, first to the puck on the rebound, and keeps the cycle going. I love this stuff. I'm a sucker for this kind of thing, right? Go to the net, tip pucks, be a threat up the middle, and be the first on it after a rebound, right? That's how you win. This is how you win hockey games. And I'm not really interested in, this is going to sound crazy, guys who score a lot. I'm interested in guys who do the things necessary to win. And I think this guy is a great example of a player who you win with. But he's doing this again in the second or third best league in the world, at worst fourth. Take that for what you will. I don't think you need to see more Michal Svrcek being annoying on the offensive exits and everything, but here's another one of him just being a nuisance and causing a turnover, getting the puck right back in the offensive zone. Another really good forecheck here from Svrcek. He's not in the frame right now, but you'll see him pretty soon. Just watch him fly in from the far side of the ice, cuts off that pass, causes an offensive zone exit to be uncontrolled, drives into the offensive zone. Again, a bit more strength. Maybe he comes out with possession of the puck there, but that's a double team situation. And again, applying that forechecking pressure right away. He doesn't float away. He doesn't stop skating on the play. He just sticks with it, keeps moving forwards. And again, I love this stuff. This is the kind of thing that I absolutely love to see out of young players. And there is that skill too. He just cuts into the offensive zone here, and then whoop, around he goes to the net. So if he can it's just from here, it's a bit simplistic, but like, get good, work on this stuff at the higher levels, give him the ice time, let him sort of play around with the puck a little bit more, but not too much, like if these are the types of things where instead of shooting it on net, again, he did this at the SHL level a lot, like he might have just turned and popped it on net from here, which is not going to go in, especially in the NHL, right? You're probably not going to score here. Maybe you will if you're a great shooter, which he can be, but being able to cut to the net and just make something happen and have good support from a line mate, that also matters and arguably could be a better scoring chance. So this is a highlight of both the positives and negatives, I think, in his game here, where again, this energy helps break up this cycle. He gets this sort of bounced puck off of an opponent, gets it out of the defensive zone. 58 does a good job cutting off that pass, and then he just kind of gets out-muscled here. A little bit too easily, but again, this was less common than him winning these battles, and at least he's there. Like, I think that's the big thing to always remember about a guy like this. So he's going to get stronger from here. You have to hope. And I think if he does, situations like this will be a lot easier for him and go a lot better. And I think that at the end of the day, this guy has a lot of potential. And if he blocks that defensive entry there, that could be a very, very useful play to make. And he did do that quite a bit this year. This is a flash of him using those edges to create some space into the offensive zone at the SHL level and try to get a puck in front. Again, I would always want him to defer to a play like this instead of what I saw a little bit too often, which is just put it on net from here. Maybe there's a tipping threat or whatever, but try to just slide along the ice, get a tip from in front, or try to raise some havoc there. I mean, it's nitpicky, one or the other, I don't know. But at the end of the day, this is the type of thing that I want to see out of him more next season a little bit, is just these use your skating ability, create some space, be explosive, and try to make a little bit of offense at this sort of more chaotic state of play rather than on the rush and when things are just going fast and northbound a lot of the time. So that's the kind of thing I think I want to see carried forward. And I think that's exemplified, or at least the capability of it is here. So the puck is coming out of the zone this way, right? And where is Svrcek? He's here. And he has come from here. on this play. And he is going to make no mistake. That's mine. I'm going to go into the offensive zone. I'm going to dump it, and I'm going to go after it. I'm just going right after it. I'm going to try to pressure the guy. And this is NHL structure. This is NHL stuff. NHL coaches should probably look at this and go, yep, this guy gets it, right? Simple. And again, if he's just a little more explosive, a little stronger, I feel like he could have chased after this and gotten possession, or at least been a bit more of a factor on the check here. This is one of the earlier games I think he played in the SHL this year, but definitely seeing some stuff where you go, yeah, the path forward for him with good development based on the natural way he's wired is positive at the very least. This stuff you also love to see, right? Again, making himself a really good pass target. The puck's coming along the boards. He's facing where the puck is coming from, and he's got his head up and he's looking this way. So he's looking for options, and what does he do? Simple pass, reads the oncoming pressure beautifully, and they get it out of the zone. I mean, they get it into the offensive zone and lose control, but who's there, right? Who's there to gain possession in the offensive zone? Michal Svrcek. You know, I look at this and I just go, I feel like I want this guy on my team every single night, right? He makes that great read, blocks that attempted dump out, keeps it down low, and they almost establish a good cycle in the offensive zone. For me with Svrcek, it's just a matter of all of the good things he does without the ability or without the opportunity to showcase some real flash and razzle dazzle, because this is the SHL. It's very difficult to do. So for me, I watch Svrcek and I just see so many translatable traits, a great way to be wired. And again, this little pass off the wall, you're going to need to be able to do this stuff too. And then again, tons of space in the offensive zone he finds, blocks a pass, keeps it down low. This is another really nice play from junior hockey where Svrcek tracks this play really well. Again, he starts the play here, so he's pretty far away from where the puck is. And what does he do? He's still in open space, cuts off that pass, and now he's in alone. Now, this is where I get a little bit skeptical of him. This is a good example where, you know, you've got the runway to play with and he just pops it on net from a medium danger area in open ice. Unlikely to score here, and you've got a 2-on-1, right? Like, use it, you know, pull it on your backhand, attack the net, maybe use this as a passing lane if this guy can get there and fill the space, right? Like, this is where I think Svrcek needs to work on things in order to produce a little bit more. But this whole play, like, things are going the right direction. Really good cutoff, gets in the offensive zone. Not a great shot, but you know, it's a nice wrist shot, but like the positioning and the timing is questionable, and that was not uncommon with him. So we've kind of touched on a lot of the things in Svrcek's game that I'm not a huge fan of and I think do need to be worked on. And there's a pattern of a lack of explosiveness and, you know, the physicality being a bit of a nice thing to have, but the success rate might not quite be there right now. And the shoots and the shot selection is not amazing with Svrcek. But I mean, this is just a few plays that highlight those things sort of in isolation. So Svrcek here, again, he needs to be a little more explosive and cut that play off a little bit better. This was, again, a little less common as the year went on, but it's still something that I think could be a bit of a make or break for him. Just that ability to track that play and stay pesky and stay annoying and stay tight to that player. That's kind of where I think I want to see a little bit more success out of him and a little bit better results. But at the end of the day, I like that he's this involved in these types of plays. The only thing I really wanted to note about this play is, again, Svrcek is not the quickest explosive first few steps guy. I think on this play, he already has taken a shoulder check and he holds onto it and a soft dump out, and it ends up a defensive cycle, or at least it very well could have. So for me on this play, it's like you probably should make that read. You don't really have an option. Either cycle it down low to a defenseman that's in support, or just get it out of the zone or something. Just rifle it, because you don't have that sort of speed to really escape that situation. But again, this is a 17-year-old playing against grown men, so you got to take things a little bit in stride. Here goes Svrcek again, but it's this sort of limitation of where his offense comes from, right? Not the fastest guy in the world here, and I think, again, that's the big thing I want to see improved with him, because he does the right thing here. Gets a really nice pass off the boards. He's first to the puck here, and now he's off to the races, right? Or at least he should be. You know, you've got a lane here completely on your own. You've got all the momentum. So, you know, again, that forward skating ability and allowing that player to back check and cover him and then take him out. You know, to me, it's a bit of like this is why he maybe didn't score more than he did in the SHL. But I mean, if it's right there, you know, I feel like with a couple of years, it's right there. and he's in a really good environment to do it. And he's already clearly in the good graces of whoever's running this team because they put him in the SHL lineup and they kept him there for a very long time. And that's it for Michal Svrcek. That's all I've got. So, I mean, look, am I too high on this guy? It's entirely possible. Every year there are players that come along that I adore and probably get too high about, but I still do feel very, very strongly that in this year's NHL draft class, it happens pretty quickly, where a guy like Svrcek certainly deserves to be among the group of names that are around everybody else's rankings relatively high. I just look at how he plays at this level of hockey. I look at the flow of the game at this level, and it's not for everybody. I've watched pretty much every Swedish prospect that has played in the SHL this year, or whatever prospect they are, whether they're Swedish or not, and I haven't found anyone as impressive on this level, right? I've seen Wozniak, I've seen Yenborg, I've seen all of them. And I just feel like with, say, Yenborg, the pace of the game is a little too much, but he is a more physical player and he is bigger. Wozniak, I think he does have some smarts to him, but again, I feel like the pace and the physicality is too much. He's not as much of an impactful off-puck player. So with Svrcek, I mean, again, I just keep thinking back to what are the NHL playoffs like? What is it like when the NHL players are at their best playing against each other? Unless you're like a Connor McDavid, I watch a team like the Florida Panthers find so much success, and I look at how they play. And Svrcek, you know, it's not that they're the fanciest team around. It's not like they're the rootinest, tootinest cowboy hockey players of all time. They do these kinds of things. They just get into the offensive zone. They hem you in. They attack you below the goal line. They toss pucks out in front. They cause chaos. They go to the net. They do all of those things that Svrcek does, and they are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. For me, this guy plays exactly the style of play that I want to see played, and does so in a way that I think he also flashes a lot of upside for more. I do think he needs to work on the shot selection. He definitely needs to get more explosive with his skating ability if he's going to be a better player on the puck. But like, to me, all of that is just the fun stuff to develop. Skating ability, shooting ability, and at the junior level, you see a lot of opportunities where he goes to the net. He's attacking the net with the puck. He's trying to skate with skill and energy through players on the opposing team in the offensive zone. He's doing so many things at the junior level that you want to see more at the men's level. But I also feel like when I started watching him at the men's level around February, that's when I started really seeing what he was capable of. And that's not uncommon in Sweden from my experience. Guys go to the SHL and then all of a sudden they know they have to hit their highest gear all the time, and you really see it. So for me with Svrcek, I mean, it's just a matter of patience and good sort of development from here, and really honestly setting aside the fact that he's 5'10", 5'11", and just going, I just feel like because of how he plays against men, again, that's so important to keep in mind, that I mean, I'll bet on this guy. I mean, he probably will go in the actual NHL draft after guys who are playing like American high school hockey or, you know, junior A in Canada. Like, there might be some of those guys that go before a kid who played most of the season playing third line minutes in a third line role in the Swedish Hockey League. Even in their playoffs, he was playing, right? Yes, at the U18s, I don't think he was like spectacular, but I do think he was better than his point production would indicate. And I feel like he's going to be one of those players. I don't think he's ever going to be a 100-point NHL player, but I do really feel like there could be a player who you notice every time he goes on the ice. He does little things that make it valuable for you. And every single time I see him, yeah, there are things I can look at and go, okay, I would want to improve this. I'd want to work on this. I'd want to work on this. But at the end of the day, I just watch this kid play and I'm going, yeah, he is not out of place at this level. He's chipping in really, really well. He flashes some really good ability. He can go to the net. He has scored points. He has set up plays. I just cannot get enough of this guy, and I love him so much. I have him penciled in as the number one option for team scouting with the pick in the 60s or whatever it is. So for me, I think there's a ton of upside here. And on paper with the analytics before we let you go, I mean, it's also really good. So for the record, 4 of the 7 games I tracked were against SHL competition. And so this data is a little mixed between multiple levels, but overall, you see a guy who, you know, could do better with shot selection, but it wasn't that bad, but a lot of that came from one game where he was a monster. In terms of offensive generation, it was pretty good all around, especially considering he was playing in the SHL. We saw clips of him setting up plays, going to the net, getting scoring chances, and so he's capable of doing this at high levels. Defensively, you can see good involvement defensively, but the success rate is, I'd say, average-ish, and it definitely was worse in the SHL because, again, those guys can maybe use body positioning against him a little better. He can end up a step behind a little bit more often than I would like, but those are things you can work on. You know, small guys getting quicker is not uncommon. And I would argue he's not even that small. Offensively, really reliable transition player, even in the SHL. That's really, really good value stuff to have. Really good forechecking results. And again, that wasn't just junior hockey where he had those results. Pretty much every single game, he was doing a really good job generating He was doing a really good job generating turnovers in the offensive zone. And he's throwing hits. You know, he's not throwing 0 hits, but he's throwing some amount of hits. And I think that if you can increase that explosiveness, he'll do it more often. So I think at the very, very least, you're looking at a modern day energy forward that I think is extremely projectable. And in my view, that has a lot of value in this year's draft class. Like, I feel like from here, everything else you get is a bonus just because of how he's wired, how he's performed already against men. And yes, there are moments where I've been a little frustrated watching him, the shot selection, that escape velocity, that quickness. It does, you know, it does cause issues, and that's okay. But I always think about, you know, what if I took Michal Svrcek and swapped him with Bill Zonon, right, in the queue, right? I mean, Bill Zonon I love, and I feel like he might be okay in the SHL, but still, I don't know if it would be like this. Or, you know, you take a Ben Kindle, put him in the SHL. I love Ben Kindle, but I don't think he plays like this in the SHL, you know? And I feel like that has value because this guy also, Svrcek, will be playing against men, assuming he stays here. I would say I would leave him here for 2 years, 3 years, and just work his way up the lineup. The whole time, he's going to be playing fast, hard, intense hockey. Everything needs to be done quickly, and I think that that is tremendously valuable. So for me, Svrcek is one of my favorite players relative to where people have him, especially now that I've seen him in the SHL. And maybe that's just a luxury that not everybody has, and maybe there are players that would perform similarly, but at the end of the day, I really, really do believe in this kid, and I'm so surprised that more and more people haven't really come to respect the energy that he has and everything, because it's there. And I've seen him more than enough to look at him relative to some of the guys that probably will go in the first round this year and go, those guys, a lot of them, I think, will need to learn some lessons that Svrcek already has learned and will be applying for years and years and years from here before those guys touch NHL ice. So we'll see how things go with this guy. Again, I might be a little bit out of my mind on him, but in terms of what I think helps you actually win NHL hockey games, I think he brings a lot to the table. And with that, we're going to call it. So if you liked the video, definitely like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Definitely check out Scouching.ca if you haven't already as well. Check out the tiers of subscriptions we have over there. You can access our Discord server, these videos early, as well as plenty of other stuff, including the write-up for my rankings earlier than they will be released publicly. So with that, thanks very much. We will see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed this guy as much as I've enjoyed watching this player, because it really was a joy.